So thank you, Sheri from KP's FM. So I guess
Yes.
I'm going to present this
Yeah.
radio.
Can you hear my station ID?
KPIS.FM, the
Yeah,
golden
great.
stream.
Awesome. Great. Okay, guys, yes, so happy to be here. Kind of jumped on last minute. My name's Sheri Barclay. I run kpis.fm, and I work at Live365. I'm on the tech support team at Live365, and I'm also collaborating on a web update with Tony. So it's really cool to already kind of, be putting these pieces together. So let me tell you a bit about KPIS. My two cats are going insane behind me. So apologies for that. They're in demon mode. Yeah, so KPIS is run as a female dictatorship. So I do not ask for input from the DJs. I know what's good for the station, and then everything's released, you know. And when I'm making these releases, I'm actually taking input from the listeners and how people are using it. So I am listening to them, but I kind of have like final say, because if it was like, there's 80 DJs, so if everyone was like, well, I think the chat should be this color, like nothing, it just wouldn't work. There's no video, there's just audio. People have requested that, but for us, like a lot of people are really, they're listening to it when they're doing their dishes, they're, folding their they're just doing that. And so I kind of really want people to just focus on the audio, because we also which is what talk about a little bit about our music and our content. So the music is all over the place, as many people have said, but there is kind of a focus on, like record collecting, a lot of oldies, a lot of just like, deep left of center cuts, but also personalities. So you need to, one of the requirements of KPIS, with a few exceptions, of course, is that you have to back announce. So you have to say what you played. You don't have to have the biggest personality, but they need to hear your voice and know that there's a human being there. And it's pretty cool. Another big inspiration of mine when I started it, don't worry, there are other slides, but was just like kind of traditional, like wacky public access radio. And it's really cool because like I started this 5 years ago. 5 years later, we just had Jake Fogelnest do a show, which I don't know if you guys are really familiar with, but he had this public access show called Squirt TV, which eventually got signed by MTV, and was a lot of people speculate it was the actual inspiration for Wayne's World. So to kind of like have the real life thing end up on my station 5 years later, that was like my inspiration, is like amazing. And I don't want to name drop too much, but we just had Reggie Watts on. That was really cool. So yeah, but it's very personal. Like a lot of people, they do, like one guy did a birthday show for his mom, and he recorded voicemails from his entire family and spliced it in between the tracks, and his whole entire family listened to the stream. So it gets like, it's like cool, but it's also like, it's a lot of like people's parents listen, people's parents who are like confused about like what their hipster kid is into. So this is kind of like a fun, passive way for them to connect. Again, like there's so many other ways that people listen and enjoy it, but that's like one of my favorites. I don't know. That's how I know that it's working. So let's get back. Let's get into some more history here. So I one of the ways I started was I was doing oh man, a little bit of everything, like brand ambassador, um, support, conferences, displays, bug reporting, um, you name it, at Xeno Live. And Xeno Live was actually crazy because they designed this this platform where you could go live from the platform, and you could also call into the media player. So the video player had a phone button that you could use like Google Chat to call into, which is a cool idea, and it was also kind of crazy though, because like they wanted all the music to play over voice over IP, and nothing really worked, and the whole thing, they burned through their budget, and that was the end of not Xeno, but Xeno Live. But I learned a lot, and it was really fun. And one of the projects that I did for them was I built them a podcast studio to bring in special guests, and also just like kind of show investors what was going on. And I would use that studio after hours. And I found a suitable place in actually a 8x8 storage unit in an alley in Brooklyn. And I kind of migrated the people that I was using in the Xeno studio to my own studio. And I said, this is the rent. Can you contribute a membership fee to pay for that? And they said yes. So that's how K-Piss started. But also that particular alley, as much of Brooklyn does, did smell like piss. So that was kind of the funny thing. And the K is actually, like, technically we're on the West Coast, but we also, or East Coast, but we also broadcast from the West Coast. And I figured it was internet radio, and K-Piss has a nicer ring to it than WPISS. And also I wanted something like a filtration system so that I could like not attract, like it's free form and everyone's welcome, but not really. Like you kind of have to be down with the concept and the humor and everything. Because I work one-on-one with a lot of the DJs. So this is one of our first press pieces here. We got into the Village Voice. There's a great article. You guys can check it out if you want to. And at first, we used MixLR, and I had 2 computers. So when you went live on MixLR, Auto DJ was running on another computer with MixLR, and that's how we switched back and forth. MixLR didn't have a good like cloud thing at the time, and I don't know, they were the best option that I liked. I guess I just liked how simple it was to set up, and I remember that Obama had used it. That was kind of cool. Anyway, so we used this, and then we were on. I submitted the stream to TuneIn, and then I got this message from TuneIn that was like, sorry, I'm not really reading the chat here. I'm trying my best. Anyway, so I got this message from TuneIn, and they said, are you licensed? And I didn't realize that, and they're like, if you're not licensed, take us off. We're taking you off of TuneIn, which sucked because then that takes you off the Google Home and Alexa and all that. So I responded back like, okay, fine, take us off, because I was so scared. And then I didn't realize that TuneIn, I thought that I was special and popular, and that like TuneIn like found me and we were getting so popular or whatever, because we got the cease and desist after that. But the truth is, I think that TuneIn was just like scraping, and then I don't know if I'm making any sense. They kind of like sent that information to Sound Exchange, and nothing really happened. But that's when we decided to switch to Life 65 so that we would be licensed. So yeah, I'm skipping a lot of stuff. Like a lot of crazy fun things happened in this alley. It was pretty magical, and we were kept costs down because we were stealing power. Well, we weren't stealing power. The landlord was stealing power. Probably shouldn't really talk about that, but anyway, our power hookup, which kind of made the whole thing cost effective, went away. So I had to research other options. So I rented an empty lot, and I bought a really cheap RV. My friend did this rad mural for like just cost of materials, and then Mashable covered us. And then the rent was significantly higher, but I raised the membership fee, not too as little as I could to help. And then I also got food trucks in the area to rent the rest of the space to help offset that, which was kind of crazy. I never really started this thing to be like a hipster trailer park landlord, but there was. And we had a lot of parties, and I mean, I really dug the space, but it could be stressful to run this venue. Like people, had to clean up after all the DJ. I started calling myself the station janitor. Anyway, so so then Corona happened, and there's another article about that. But it's and by the way, like I I'm pretty good at my own PR. I'm not good at anybody else's PR, so don't ask me. I just know how to like play the waiting game with journalists, and I get lucky sometimes. Also, Brooklyn is really good for that. And I fit like the Brooklyn aesthetic or whatever, so people don't want to write about me. Anyway, so Corona happened, and nobody wanted to pay the membership fee, and I didn't have food truck income, and so I had to just leave the space. I was supplementing my income at Trader Joe's. I always wanted to get back into the tech world after I got laid off from Zeno Live, but I just have a really weird resume, and I didn't like go to college or anything, so I just had to work in the service industry and keep doing this. And I didn't want to get Corona at Trader Joe's, so I just sublet my apartment, moved back to Canada. And then the craziest thing was we had to go full remote. So I had to convince all the DJs who had been using the studio to like basically start their own studios and keep going. And I had to tell them like, and then this was what was really scary for me, because I didn't know how much we were a station and how much we were like a party space where people did radio. So this was like a true test of the culture and the station and the listeners. And also at this time, a lot of people were just starting to DJ on Instagram Live and Twitch and all of that stuff. So I had to also kind of like compete with that. So I know this is really selfish, but when Instagram Live started kicking people off for like, copyright or whatever, I was so happy. I was like, I do not need any other competition platforms right now. But no, this was, and then I convinced a journalist to write about this thing, and this is my home studio where I'm broadcasting from right now. You can see my cats fighting in the background, which is probably super distracting. Oh, I don't actually know. I'll mention that in the next slide. Sorry. Okay, so we use Google Cal for our scheduling. I send everyone an invite. I'm kind of hoping Tony, we're working on a project to make this like nice and presentable. But right now, when you go to the site, you're just seeing GCal, you know? And yeah, just keep it tight on the GCal, it works, you know what I mean? Like we use it, and I try to use tools that we're also using at work and stuff. Like there's a Slack community too, all of that stuff. So that's really important. Okay, and now, yeah, let's like have some fun here. Let's go to the actual site here. So I know what some of you are thinking. This is an NTS ripoff, and you're not wrong. But actually, it's funny because I actually met the founder of Mixcloud, and he did a few sets at KPIS, believe it or not. I think he was just spying on me for like free like user experience thing. I kept trying to get a job there, and he just kept getting information about how I was setting up the station. So we were both, neither one really got what we wanted. Well, I think he got what he wanted. But anyway, I was worried because I was like, do you think NTS would give me shit if I, copied their theme? And he said, no, but I know them. I can introduce you. So he sends me an email. This is before I was developing it. And NTS actually said, we don't have a problem. Actually, if you want us to develop it for you, we'll do it for $60,000 plus $1,000 of maintenance a month. So I said no, and then I found a friend to do it in WordPress. Probably doesn't work quite as nice as NTS, but also, you know what? We have our own flavor on it. So like we have our own scheme, we have our own like whole thing. And so it's a lot different. It's a lot more personal. But I mean, like they don't have like a copyright claim on like the play button icon, you know what I mean? So anyway, so that's that. And yeah, let's see here. So this is our FlyZoo chat. I love FlyZoo. I'd love to have our own chat, but I actually kind of like it. And like people are really, they've been using this chat for like 5 years now. It's their home. So I don't really want to mess with it. And people love posting GIFs. And we also have GIFs tutorials and stuff, which I will get to when I show you more about our onboarding and all of that. But it's amazing how people like don't, you know, they like, because you have to copy the actual link of the like the .gif, and people just copy the address, so we have to like teach them that. But actually, the more like educating the listeners and the DJs actually pulls them into the experience more. So it's actually kind of fun. We have a lot of fun with that. So once you go into the shows page, it has like their genres, you know, very similar to NTS. I advise the DJs, you know, please don't put like 5 million tags in the first one. Try to use not copyright images, all that kind of stuff. And then with our player, we have it so the Mixcloud embeds right here. And I don't want to go on about Mixcloud Select, but there used to be like a button here because we were on Mixcloud Select for donate, which was really confusing to people. So I had to write to Mixcloud, tell them to take us off Mixcloud Select, because I understand like they're split on why they do it, but it's pretty expensive. It's like, I don't know, 40% or something. If people donate to you, goes to the record labels and all that. And I get it. But the thing is, if everybody signed up for Mixcloud Premium, which I think is like $11 a month, then they would get all those features anyway. So I don't really like being kind of used as a DJ to shill Mixcloud Premium, and then it takes away from my Patreon. But anyway, I don't know, just maybe I probably shouldn't be going on the record with that, but it's just a thought. Oh, and then so we have this Bandcamp thing here. So everybody, in order to promote new music, like we're all a bunch of old heads here, you know, we like that, but you know, we have to keep it going. So I tell people, like, please research at least one person, label, whatever, from Bandcamp and feature that as your featured track. And ideally, send them a message on social media or whatever, tag them, let them know, you know, so we can be the place where people do come to, you know, hear new music and support artists. Oh, so when you sign up, and I'm not everybody, I'm getting pickier. Sometimes I was less pickier, now it depends. So when you sign up, you get this PDF and it has a little bit of history. Sorry, I'm just checking my notes, see if I forgot anything. Okay, looks like I'm good so far. Anyway, so you get, I'm not showing you the entire PDF, but yeah, so you get this thing with a little bit of history. And then you get invited to a G Drive, and the G Drive has logos that you can use for your shows, the gift tutorials, promos. And so what I'm eventually going to do is have, because cross promotion of other shows is really the key to growing it. So I want to have everybody make little commercials, and then they can go into the show promos folder and pick a different one to cross promote, you know. So their show is still their show, but at some point they can say, hey, check out this other show, and there'll be a little promotion for that. And they have to play a station ID at least once per show, ideally twice at the beginning and the end. And that's where those station IDs live. And I update them for the holidays and stuff. And I have a guy that makes them, but I'll also use Fiverr once in a while. It's really fun. And then I have a logins with, I hope that's blurred out, because that has my Icecast and Mixcloud password and all that, which I try to update. And then it's great because I don't have to email every single person. Just say, hey, on Slack, hey, I updated the logins, go check in the G Drive. When you onboard, you also get 2 separate videos from me. One is about audio hijack, which a lot of people use. If they don't have Macs, they use a mix. Or if they have a mixer, they use broadcast using this tool. I'm not going to say it. Anyway, and then they have another video which tells them how to upload their shows, but it also explains that we push the metadata through to Live 65, or which, even though like you don't see it because we are not using their player, even though we're supposed to, and we're going to. Hey John, we're going to eventually, or at least have a branded media player that says Live 65 so that we're covered. But it's like the live DJs need to input the metadata live, and so this explains that to them. Because licensing is very important to me, especially since I got that cease and desist, which kind of just went away. But I'm still scared sometimes it's gonna come back to haunt me. Okay, and then this is another thing in the onboarding. So when I was designing the WordPress, I didn't code it. I don't have the skills that you guys have. I wish I did because I'd make a lot more money, but I don't. So anyway, but I told the dude, like, please just get rid of as many fields as possible. So that was really important to me, just making it really, really simple. And in the future, I might even add like a little bit of fun commentary, like instead of just the Bandcamp thing, it'll say, because some people are like, well, I don't know where to find, it'll have like a little reminder that you can play a label if you can't find somebody or something like that. I don't know, Buster. In my world, they make more than people that work at Trader Joe's. All right. So, this is really important. This is included in the onboarding materials, okay? And now you would think this is a disaster, but honestly, if you just explain this to people, it works really well. All right. So you start, if your show's at 1, you started at 1 o'clock, 1:00, and you end it at 1:59. And then that gives the next person a second to come on. And I found when I listened to the show, or when I listened to the live station, if people follow this, there's almost no downtime in between, which is really cool. I kind of miss like Airtime Pro, but I can't use it because I'm scared of licensing. I miss it because I do kind of like having that restrictive thing for them where like they can the users only it forces them to only sign in during their time. But this this adds trust, and also once in a while a DJ will be late or not showing up and the other person will feel like going over, and I'm okay with that. Also, we will need people to be in control of their recording start and stop time. So they wouldn't like it if we kind of automatically recorded their sets. Like it would be convenient, but they want to press start and like start the thing exactly. And end it exactly. And sometimes they even end it early too, which is fine. Just goes to the auto DJ. And then I tell them, like, if you want to keep going, that's fine, but you have to turn your stream off. And so they know that. So they know maybe they'll get cut off on live, but it'll be in the archives. As long as you explain that to people, then they don't mind. And then I tell them, if they're worried about my going over my time. And if I tell them, if they're worried about
Sorry, so yeah, you're a bit over time. So yeah, just to let you know, I had to do that, but yeah.
Let me wrap it up. Okay, sorry. This is a bit about the music, which just goes. Oh, and then this is really important. I don't tell people the listenership. That is like the key here. And I tell them to call it internet radio, not a podcast. We started doing a monthly Spotify thing. I hate Spotify, but it increases awareness of the brand and whatever. And then we are doing a flight, an app in test flight because we're having problems with licensing, and I think the community be closer that way. Anyway, we spread the word for the DJs, word of mouth. If you want to join us, volunteers, or just hit me up, Sheri at kpis.fm. Like 5 is getting a lot of new features. I'm going to let John take the wheels on that, obviously. I was in the news. That was pretty cool, too. Like the TV news here locally. It's all about local, too. It's like weird Canada, New York hybrid. And that's all I really have to say about that. I'm so sorry for going over my time and a lot of information to squeeze in there. And yeah, please feel free to hit me up. Thank you so much, Samuel. I'm so sorry about going over this time.
Yeah, thank you very much. It was really interesting, and yes, sorry for interrupting you, but I don't want to drift too much.
KPIS is the best internet radio station that ever existed. the history of internet radio.
Yeah, we might get the message. So is there a quick question maybe to Sheri or
Sure. Anybody?
anyone? No.
No.
Last chance. Okay, so it was it was really interesting. Yeah. A very good talk. Yeah. Thank you very much once again.
Merci.